My name's Clay Bolster. I'm a sophomore here. I'm from New York City, and I'm a sociology major. So I'd chosen 3 classes for my second semester of my freshman year, and I didn't have a fourth. And I think Adam, being the basketball academic liaison, recommended that I take his independent study for my 4th class. So that's how I got started, and this is now my second semester doing it. During the study, I've done interviews, analyzed data, carried out some research studies or research analysis where we would get interviews and summarize them, and then draw some or identify some themes, and then analyze some quotes from the participant, and then at the end we would put in some quotes that we thought were most important from the interviews. In the spring of 2023, me and another researcher are going to Sweden with Adam to present at a conference. And we don't really know all the details right now, but that'll be another thing that I help contribute to the study. I definitely had some preconceived notions about boys that went to all-boys schools. I went to school relatively close to an all-boys school, and the guys that went there were very arrogant and felt superior to everyone else, especially academically. And I think I definitely brought some of that with me into the study. I'm aware that stereotype exists, but I have also had my mind changed just because I've been exposed to 100+ guys that went to, or boys that went to all boys schools. So I don't think it applies in all their cases, but I do think that there are some general stereotypes that you can make on a broad scale about people that go to all boys schools. The most surprising thing for me was learning about the transgender participant. I think, especially at an all boys school, that's relatively rare, and to hear their story with coming out later on in life and experiencing all boys schools was very unique and something that I wasn't expecting going into it. Well, to be honest, I think it helped that I was a man in the interview process, because I think that it's easier for guys to talk to other guys about some of these things. And I think the boys that go to all boys schools don't necessarily want to expose some of the negative side of their academic experience, and I think some of the questions that were asked really dug into that. And I think that an environment that's with another guy, it's easier to open up than it would be if it was a person of the opposite gender. The story that stood out to me was the cheating scandal at one of the schools. Basically, a group of students went into their teacher's office, and the tests were on his desk, and they took the tests and took photos of it and sent them to a bunch of kids in the class. And learning about that, I actually wrote a story on that. And that was pretty crazy. Nothing like that ever happened in my school, and I never really heard of that. I never really heard of anything like that happening. So learning about that was pretty crazy. I think I could draw some similarities between my experience and some of the experience of the boys in the study, because I found myself in all-boy environments, whether it be in the locker room or in common rooms with my friends. And I think that the ideas of brotherhood and masculinity were present in those environments, but at the same time, I think having the entirety of your academic environment being homogenous in terms of gender is significant, and my experience at a co-ed school is very different at the same time from the all-boys schools. And my experience in the locker room or in a common room with my friends is what every day is like for these guys. And I think that carries significant weight when it comes to the way in which you carry yourself on a daily basis. And I think that is one of the biggest differences between the way I behaved at a co-ed school and some of the boys in the study behaved on a daily basis in an all-boys school.